Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Ajnanati Mirandasya Jnananjanachalakaya Chakshuranmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Sapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Bandeyam Shri Guru Shri Tapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagradatam Sagana Ragunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savidyutam Paridhana Chaitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitam Sa He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopicha Gopikanta Radha Kanta Namosude Tatta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhana Sute Devi Pranamami Hare Priya Vancha Kalpatri Kripa Sindhu Bhevacha Patitanam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavabhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Everybody together. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama,
Rama Rama Hare Hare. Once more.
Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Once more. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasad Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Tinam Namaste Saraswati Sat Panchatattva Ki Jai Go Sundar Ki Jai. Lord Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani Ki. So last week we did some thing on introduction. We're going to continue in the introduction so that we get the idea of the whole of the Bhagavad Gita, what it is all about. So let us just go a little bit of what we did last week. Why did Srila Prabhupada have to write another commentary of Bhagavad Gita as it is and translate in English Bhagavad Gita as it is? Why?
Because there were so many different versions.
Yes. What about so many different versions?
They were
Huh?
diversions.
Sorry?
See, there were diversions.
Yeah. What is the diversion? Yeah, I know you're going, but we need that.
He's not presenting it as it is.
As it is about who?
About Krishna being the Supreme Personality.
Correct. Give him a big hand. That's important. Because they don't mention that Krishna is to Bhagavan Swayam or Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They want to be God themselves. So that is why Srila Prabhupada had to translate Bhagavad Gita as it is in English. Okay, there's an example of the spirit of the Bhagavad Gita. What is the spirit of the Bhagavad Gita? I'll give you an example. Prabhupada gives an analogy of medicine. Somebody? Anybody? Everybody must take part. Prabhupada gives an example of a medicine.
Direction for the medicine.
Huh?
The direction.
How it should be taken according to the direction of the label or the doctor.
Yes. When you go to the doctor prescribes your medication, right? And you have to take it according to the
Prescription.
doctor's prescription or what's given on the label. How do you compare that to Bhagavad Gita as it is?
Follow follow the principles.
Huh?
You follow the principles of Bhagavad Gita.
Yes, but according to medication. Bhagavad Gita is our medicine. And it is prescribed by our supreme doctor. Who is that? Huh? Lord Krishna, our supreme doctor. He has prescribed that to us. So we have to take it according to that prescription of the doctor, or take it according to what's given in the scripture prescribed like that. Lord Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita to me. Isn't it? Am I right? Huh? Did he speak Bhagavad Gita to me on the battlefield of Kurukshetra? Huh?
No, he spoke to Arjuna.
No. He spoke to Arjuna. Yes, give him a big hand, please. I'm trying to trick you a little.
He was there with Krishna.
You'll notice.
He was there with Arjuna.
Huh?
He was there with Arjuna.
Yeah, he spoke to Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, and he prescribed that medicine for our cure, our disease condition. And what is our disease condition?
Illusion.
Huh?
Illusion.
Yeah, illusion, birth, old age, disease, and
Yes.
death. That is our disease condition, the material. Take on a material body. Right? The speaker of Bhagavad Gita is me. Huh?
Lord Krishna.
Huh?
Lord Krishna.
Lord Krishna.
Yes, it's Lord Krishna, not me. I'm trying to trick you all again and again, so that you will not ever forget Bhagavad Gita. Yes. The speaker of Bhagavad Gita is Lord Krishna himself, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as is confirmed by all great acharyas. Some of the great acharyas, spiritual masters, give some name, if you all can. Huh? Yeah, but yeah, what's here? Like Shankaracharya, Ramanujacharya, Madhavacharya, Nimbarka Swami, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and many, many authorities of Vedic knowledge in India. And the Lord himself, the Lord himself establishes himself as the Supreme Person of Godhead. And I gave you examples from Srimad Bhagavatam. What verse was that? In Srimad Bhagavatam.
The Krishnas to Bhagavan Swayam.
Yes, but right in the
For the first verse.
very first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam 1:1:1.
Yes, yes.
It is established that Krishna is the Supreme Person of Godhead. And then we mentioned about Bhagavad Gita being spoken. To who was it first spoken? To me? Who was I don't know.
Sun God.
Who was Bhagavad Gita first spoken to?
The sun God.
Give her a big hand, please. You can see in the book, it's there. To the sun god Vivaswan, it says very clearly here. Here the Lord informs Arjuna that this system of yoga, the Bhagavad Gita, was first spoken to the sun god. How many years ago, if you can remember? Huh?
Million years.
How many years ago? Anybody? Yes? Any figure? Huh?
3 billion years ago.
120 million years ago. He spoke it to the sun god called Vivaswan. Right? And what happened to that? To that version of Bhagavad Gita that was spoken to sun god? It was lost or broken. So therefore the Lord had to come back and speak it. He spoke it to all of you. To who did he speak it after that? He had to re-establish the parampara. The parampara system was broken. So he had to re-establish the parampara. What is parampara? Disciplic succession. Give her a hand, please. It's a disciplic succession, beginning from the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself, right? But that disciplic succession was broken from the Sun God, and then He spoke it to Arjuna again for the second time. Therefore, that is why Arjuna is the beginning of the parampara again, right? And how long ago did He speak Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna?
5,000 years.
Yes, 5,000, like to be exact, 5,539 years ago. Why? Because we had another 539 years because of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who appeared 500 years ago. So that's 5,539 years ago. Bhagavad Gita was spoken in the ashram. Bhagavad Gita was spoken in the ashram. Give it a big hand, please. Yeah. Bhagavad Gita was spoken on the battlefield of all places, you know. Very important message. Why it was spoken on the battlefield, Krishna will tell you. Why did Lord Krishna speak the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna? Huh? Why did He speak Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna?
Arjuna didn't want to fight.
Huh?
He didn't want to fight.
No. No.
Because he was a friend.
Yes, because he was his friend and dear devotee. And I mentioned that only Bhagavad Gita can be only understood by devotees and no one else. Understand? That is why Bhagavad Gita was spoken to. Arjuna was a friend and devotee. So we're going to read right from there. You've got the paragraph where it is. Therefore, Bhagavad Gita should be taken up in a spirit of devotion. One should not think that he is equal to Krishna, nor should he think that Krishna is an ordinary personality or even a very great personality. One should never think of Krishna as that, as an ordinary personality or some great personality or some historian. There are some people who think Krishna is like he's just an historian. There is one rascal that he mentions that, I don't want to mention his name, very contaminating, and I was very, very not disturbed. If it was someone near me, he should got a clap from me. No, seriously. Because it's very clear that anyone picks on Krishna, anyone picks on Srila Prabhupada and the Maha Mantra. What he actually said, what is his guru? He just gives one line of one mantra and he's very happy about it. And I'm just thinking, wow. What did that Maha Mantra do? What did he do?
Purified.
Everyone who took to Krishna consciousness, how many thousand people became devotees in this world when Prabhupada brought it? How many thousand? Previously, how many thousand were devotees of Lord Krishna? Hardly anybody, especially in the Western world. Of course, India, many people. Only when Prabhupada brought it to the Western countries, many others even preached Bhagavad Gita as it is, but not one of them made any devotees. It was Srila Prabhupada who made devotees of Lord Krishna. And he actually established that Krishna is the Supreme Person of God without any argument. Nobody could argue with Srila Prabhupada. So therefore we must not take this very lightly. If somebody picks on Krishna or picks on Srila Prabhupada or picks on a devotee, it's very rare. It's very rare. Okay, then we're going to continue reading. Lord Krishna is the Supreme Person of Godhead. So according to the statement of Bhagavad Gita or the statements of Arjuna, the person who is trying to understand the Bhagavad Gita, we should at least theoretically accept Sri Krishna as the Supreme Person of Godhead, and with that submissive spirit, we can understand Bhagavad Gita, even in theory, Unless one reads the Bhagavad Gita in a submissive spirit, it is very difficult to understand Bhagavad Gita because it is a great mystery. If you are not submissive, if you are arrogant and want to read Bhagavad Gita and try to know it, you will never know it. Guaranteed. I'm talking from experience. I tried, when I was not a devotee, I tried to read Bhagavad Gita. I read it so many times, but I've never understood a thing. But when I started chanting through the instruction of the scriptures, Srila Prabhupada, in the beginning, after that slowly, Bhagavad Gita could be understood. Later on through the spiritual master and his explanation, we understood Bhagavad Gita even more. Bhagavad Gita cannot be understood on your own if you are an ordinary personality. You have to become a devotee to understand Bhagavad Gita. That is why you must be submissive. Just what is the Bhagavad Gita? Just what is the Bhagavad Gita? And Srila Prabhupada is giving the purpose of Bhagavad Gita. Very important, you can underline that. The purpose of Bhagavad Gita is to deliver mankind from the nuisance of material existence. That is the purpose of Bhagavad Gita. Because everyone are struggling in this material world, isn't it? They are suffering. They are going through so many miseries. So in order to take you out of this miserable condition, Bhagavad Gita was spoken. Continuing, next page. Every man is in difficulty in so many ways, as Arjuna also was in difficulty in having to fight the battle of Kurukshetra. Arjuna surrendered unto Sri Krishna, and consequently this Bhagavad Gita was spoken. Isn't it? Everyone is in difficulty. Not only the battlefield of Kurukshetra was taking place, but also there is a battle within ourselves, our mind, isn't it? There's a big battle that is going on. What to do and what not to do. And so many things are going on around us. But if you are in Krishna consciousness, there's nothing to worry about. Because that question was asked to Srila Prabhupada even. Prabhupada, there's so many things that are going around, there's so much of problems, there's wars, Right now, all kinds of wars are going on. Some of the kinds of wars, what is it?
Nuclear.
Examples of some wars.
Iran and Israel.
Huh?
Iran and Israel.
Yeah, but how shall I put it to you? Like, for example, what do you call this? All these devices we use, what do you call this?
Technology.
Technology.
Drones.
Technology war.
Oh, technology.
Right? Isn't it? And nuclear war. They all talk about nuclear power to fight one another. And what will nuclear war do? Destroy everything. Aren't we in difficulty in this material world? So that is why Bhagavad Gita was spoken, and that chanting of the holy name was given to us to free us from this most dangerous conditions. Okay? Arjuna surrendered unto Sri Krishna, and consequently this Bhagavad Gita was spoken. You have to be surrendered. If you want to know about Krishna, you have to be surrendered. If you're not surrendered, you would not want to accept. not only Arjuna, but every one of us is full of anxieties because of this material existence. Aren't we in anxiety? Our very existence is in the atmosphere of non-existence. Actually, we are not meant to be threatened by non-existence. Why is that? Our very existence is in the atmosphere of non-existence. What that means? Huh?
Maya.
Huh?
Maya.
This atmosphere is non-existence, but we are existing within non-existence. Understand? In order to understand our existence, we must overcome this non-existence. That means we are eternal by nature. We have to understand that. We are not temporary by nature. That's how we can overcome our non-existence. The non-existence is the body, this material world. But what is in existence is a spiritual world and the devotee, the spirit soul itself. That is existent. Everything else in the material world is non-existent. Out of so many human beings who are suffering, there are a few who are actually inquiring about their position as to what they are, why they are put in this awkward position, and so on. How many people make inquiry? Huh? Yes? Very, very few. But you put your YouTube on or TV, and you'll find, for example, there is a cricket match that goes on. Did you notice what detail they describe the cricket or the football or whatever it is? Different things in so much of detail. But yet, we are struggling in this material world, but nobody goes into detail. They completely forget themselves. They are suffering in this material world. Hardly anyone. And we have to thank Srila Prabhupada to bring this to us. And somehow, we got into Krishna consciousness. Srila Prabhupada ki. Prabhupada has been very, very kind to us. So we are very, very fortunate indeed. Out of many human beings who are suffering, there are a few who are actually inquiring about the position as to what they are, why they are put into this awkward position, and so on. Because I go around and I do programs also, many programs I have done, especially when I go to funerals and all that. The first question I ask in every funeral, sometimes somebody might be thinking, haven't you got any other question to ask? What do you think the first question that I ask to anybody?
Who am I?
Niroshan will know that. Yes. Who are you? You go in a funeral and just question that. See the absurd answers you get. Unfortunately, they cannot understand that you are not this body, that you are a spirit soul. And without the spirit soul, the body cannot exist. Can never exist, no matter what you do. That is why even our schools, they are giving the wrong message, not the correct message. Because who are they? What are they talking about? Before week in a bonfire, I spoke about that. The scientists, they study. What do they study? The material scientists.
Matter.
Huh?
Matter.
They study matter. But what is important to a devotee? What matters? The scientists, they study matter in the material world. To a devotee, it is important what matters. That is most important. He doesn't worry about studying matter, but of course, but in our philosophy, by studying both, that is matter and spirit, one can come to understand who you are, what is your purpose, and what is your relationship with the Supreme Person of Godhead is. That is called Sankhya philosophy, spoken by Kapila Dev. It will be there in the Bhagavad Gita. And humanity begins when this sort of inquiry is awakened in one's mind. In the Brahma Sutra, this inquiry is called Brahma Jignasya. Prabhupada will use that word all the time, Brahma Jignasya. You must make inquiry. Who am I? What am I? And what is my purpose? That is called Brahma Jignasya. Atato Brahmana Jignasya. Every activity of the human being is to be considered a failure unless he inquires about the nature of the Absolute. If you do not inquire about the nature of the Absolute, then you are simply wasting your time. All your life is wasted. You will just come and go and come and go and come and go without knowing anything. And you continue the cycle of birth and death. Therefore, Atato Brahmana Jignasya. One must make inquiry. Therefore, those who begin to question why they are suffering, or where they are coming from, and where they shall go after death, are proper students for understanding Bhagavad Gita. You can underline that. Who are the persons, the proper persons to understand Bhagavad Gita? One is making inquiry about why am I suffering? Where did I come from? And where shall I go after death? An example can be given like this. I think many times I spoke about this. When you're driving a car, when you jump into the car, what is the first thing that you must think about? Don't shout, please. Common question. Huh? He says, how much petrol in the car? Give him a big hand, please. Yes. If you don't know your destination, when you jump in the car, you can have the petrol, you can have the oil, you can have the engine, everything. If you don't know your destination, and if you start the car and go, where will you go? Where will you go? You're going nowhere. You're going nowhere. So therefore, right now you have to question yourself, who am I? What am I? Where did I come from? Where am I going to? And when you find that, then you'll find your direction and you can drive. And that's what Prabhupada has taught us. He gave us our destination. First you got to know your destination. That is why you're supposed to know who the Supreme Person of Godhead is and what your relationship with the Supreme Person of Godhead is. And then you'll work towards that. You have to know that first. Otherwise you won't go towards your destination. Therefore, those who begin to question why they are suffering, or where they come from, and where they shall go after death, are proper students for understanding Bhagavad Gita. The sincere student should also have a firm respect for the Supreme Person of Godhead. Such a student was Arjuna. If you are such a student who want to know about all this, you have to have firm respect for the Supreme Person of Godhead. Then only you will get your answers and your purification will begin. And we notice many people who come to Krishna consciousness, they are like that. And sometimes I am so surprised, I wish I can be like some of y'all. You all are like so absorbed in Krishna consciousness, not like me, you know. I'll have to still get more absorbed and think more and more about Krishna. I'm going to stop right there. Yeah, no, I'm going to go there now. I'm going to go right there now. Anybody want to know anything? Ask any question?
when we talk to people about personality, then they say no, they bring to Krishna.
So, yes.
They pray, they got Krishna land, Lakshmi, they got Krishna picture there, they pray. Then when you ask them, but do you know who Krishna is? They say, yeah, we offer arti, we do all the japa and everything. But they don't get that one fact that what you are saying. And they only get it, I think, when they become a devotee. They miss the point a little bit. Hindu people, no, they do everything, fasting and everything. But they miss that one point about personality.
Yep, because of their level of understanding.
Yeah.
That is their level of understanding. But we have to begin from there for them.
Yes.
Don't try to put them on a very high pedestal where they will fall.
Yeah.
Start from where they are. Don't make that mistake. Many people make that mistake. Just leave them where they are and just tell them, please just try to chant.
Yes.
That is all. And then from there, they'll understand eventually that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And we meant to have a relationship with Him. All of us came through that.
Yes.
I never knew Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead until Prabhupada came.
Yes.
Srila Prabhupada ki.
Jai.
Actually I'm telling you a little of myself. I should worship many demigods and all that, you know. But lo and behold, when I read Srila Prabhupada's scriptures, Prabhupada actually enlightened us. That's why it is called the spiritual master is a torchlight of knowledge. Right in the beginning we say, Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Chalakya. The spiritual master is our torchlight of knowledge. Through that knowledge, he brightens our darkness to the torchlight of knowledge. And we have to be very thankful again and again and again to Srila Prabhupada. You know, you can't get tired of thanking Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. Therefore, we are very, very fortunate indeed to be in the movement of Srila Prabhupada. And before I was having kirtan, and I sang about one line I sang. Many of y'all, I'm sure y'all never understood what I sang there. Senapati Bhakta Srila Prabhupada. What is Senapati Bhakta? Anybody knows? You can guess. Huh? No.
Captain.
Huh?
Captain.
Nearby, somewhere there. Because the Lord Himself said, I will send my Senapati to this material world to save the living entities. Huh? General, give him a big hand, please. Yes. Srila Prabhupada is the general he's the general in our army. And we are his soldiers. So we are on the battlefield and we are fighting Maya. Give her a big hand, please. Yes. And our general is Srila Prabhupada. You must know when you take to Krishna consciousness, you have declared war on Maya. That is why Maya gets tougher and tougher and tougher with us. She tries to trick you in some way. She's testing you. She got a thankless task that you want to go to my Lord because that's her Lord, Durga Devi. She actually gives you tests. If you are really sincere, if you are serious, you will stick to all the problems that you go through. And you'll jump those hurdles to get to Krishna. So if you want to come to Krishna, know that it comes with a price. Not cheap. It's not something very cheap. It is something that's very expensive. You have to pay the price. And the only price that you have to pay is by devotion, chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. That is the only price you have to pay. That's all you have to do. That's all you have to do. Anybody, any other question? Yes.
I saw on the net that some devotees are building like a kind of university or school. I'm not sure if I'm correct. Like how Srila Prabhupada wanted for us to study, like about the soul and stuff like that, not mundane, just mundane knowledge. I'm not sure if anybody is aware of this, but I want you to know more. Does anybody know anything?
No, ma'am.
Like a university and school and all, they're planning that now. I'm not sure which part of the country. No, not in South Africa.
No, I don't know, Mataji. I don't want to speculate
Okay.
because speculation is not good. I know the truth. I will try to search
Yeah. Okay.
and come back with the answer. Not a problem. Anybody else want to know anything else? Or
Kampara, you mind covering that verse last week? You said
Sorry?
the verse last week you covered.
Yes.
Krishna is to Bhagavan Swayam.
Yes.
Can you just remind us about that verse again? Which verse number it is?
I'll look it up and I'll tell you.
Yes. Okay.
Offhand, I don't know.
Okay. And just the importance of it.
Yes, Krishna to Bhagavan Swayam means Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's what it is, specifically. So there is a verse on that. I will look it up and I will bring that next week. Like
Any questions?
anyone else? Anybody else? We are going through Bhagavad Gita right from the beginning now, step by step, so that you can very carefully understand as to what is happening, so that when we get into the first verse of Bhagavad Gita, you will actually be very clear in your mind. That is why this introduction, Prabhupada is giving the whole of the Bhagavad Gita in this introduction, so that you become very clear to understand Bhagavad Gita right as you are going through Bhagavad Gita. Very, very important, this introduction. So therefore pay very careful attention in this introduction, and then everything will become very easy. Yeah? Any other question? Anybody, any other question? No? Srila Prabhupada ki. So thank you.